Hello. In this video we are going to discuss about taxonomic categories and taxonomic aids. These two topics are part of your chapter number 1, the living world. So first we'll see what is taxonomic categories. You know what is meant by taxonomy. Taxonomy is a branch of biology that deals with classification of living organism. Whenever we are classifying living organism, first we used to look for characters, then we used to identify the species or any living organism with a name, or we may be categorizing into different groups. We give names with the help of different international organizations. So category here refers to different groups. Taxonomic categories is also known as taxa. Taxa here refers to group. Taxa is a plural and singular form of taxa is taxon. We have groups. Category here also refers to groups or ranks. So taxonomic categories for classification of living organisms are species, genus, family, order, class, phylum, and kingdom. For phylum, in case of plants, we use division. Now, as you move from species to kingdom, there is more of generalization of characters. Characters are more specific in case of species, but in case of kingdom, there is generalization of characters, and there is decrease in similarity of the characters as we move from species to kingdom. Now let's see with an example of us, Homo sapiens. We are Homo sapiens. Us, we are species. Our name of the species name of us is sapiens. All human being can reproduce, right? Reproduce fertile offspring. Homo sapiens can interpret to reproduce fertile offsprings. We do have some sterile human also, but that doesn't applies to here. So anyhow, we are species. Our species name is sapiens. Genus is Homo. We usually move upright, and we have our brain is we are intelligent, so our head size is larger, having bigger cranium inside it. We have big intelligent brain. And family is hominids. We are having flat face and three-dimensional. We can see we can see different objects, right? Three-dimensionally. Our order is primates. We have collarbone, and we can hold things. We can hold things or grasp things. Our class is mammals. We are having fur or hair on our body. We have, in case of our mothers, we have mammary glands for feeding for nurturing the young ones. Phylum of ours is chordate. We are having backbone or spinal cord. Our kingdom is animal. We are able to move from one place to another. Simple, right? But it's difficult for us to remember species, genus, family, order. These are hierarchy, taxonomical hierarchy for classification of living organisms. But it's a little bit difficult to remember all these terms in order. For doing that, we have a mnemonic device to remember the order. King Philip can order for good soup. King here stands for kingdom, Philip for phylum, can for class, order for order, for family, good for genus, soup for species. So this is a mnemonic device for remembering the order of taxonomical hierarchy or taxonomic category. Hierarchy of taxonomical category for classification of living organisms. Now let's discuss about the terms that we were using so far: species, genus, family, order, class, phylum, and kingdom. Species are group of organisms. We Homo sapiens are group of organisms having similar characteristics. We all are having same morphological features, anatomical features. We all are same, right? Though there might be minor difference. And we can interbreed. Male and female human being can interbreed once they attain reproductive age to produce fertile offspring. So species are having similar in characteristic. They can interbreed to produce fertile offspring. Now genus is a group of closely related species or aggregate of closely related species. Now what is family? Family is group of related genera. Many genera, genus forms genera, and many families group together, group together to form order. So order is assemblage of families which are exhibiting few similar characteristics. Now class is one of taxonomic category which include related orders. Many orders are grouped together and we group it under class. Now phylum is higher taxon or higher taxonomical category which is characterized or which is having many classes. Kingdom is the highest rank or highest category which is grouping different phyla or division. Hope every one of you are clear with these different terms. I've simplified these terms. I haven't made it difficult for you to understand. Simplification is important whenever we are learning. So taxonomic aids. What are taxonomic aids? As you can see here, these may be either techniques or different procedures, or these may be source of information, and these technique or procedures or source of information are useful for us in taxonomy or for identification and classification of living organisms. So some of taxonomic I should mention taxonomical aids here. That's wrong. Let me mention it. I've already mentioned it. I'll save. It's wrong, right? Now, the first taxonomical aids here is herbarium. So, herbarium is like library where we find books. But in case of herbarium, it's a storehouse of herbarium sheets. Herbarium sheets are usually found in different shelf or in different storage shelves. So herbarium is storehouse of herbarium sheets. Herbarium sheets are special sheets on which we usually mount dried plant samples or specimens, whether it's leaf, branches, flower. Okay. So museum. All of you know that museum is building for preservation of dead plants and animal specimens. Usually these are kept inside preservative solution. In case of dead animals, we used to stuff it with either straw or any stuffing agent. Third, we have botanical garden. Botanical gardens are usually gardens which are for exhibition of different plants, or these are for studying different plants. We usually refer different different plants on visiting different botanical gardens. And zoological parks here are usually enclosed. These are usually having animals which are mostly wild animals which are kept inside cage or artificial houses for display to the public. For scientists, for scholars, for students, these are for study. So zoological parks are having ferocious animals which are managed within the artificial enclosure and are used for study or public display. From zoological parks, we can observe different animals, how they are feeding. We can observe them, how they are uh, leading their life, in simple words. So key is another taxonomical aids which may be either dichotomous or polychotomous key. Dichotomous uses two statements. We'll discuss later about that. Polychotomous usually have many statements. These are usually more detailed way of studying and classification of living organisms. Now, sixth, we have different manuals, different monographs, catalogs, flora. All these are having different information. In case of monograph, it is having information about one taxon or one taxonomical category information. Say like in case of phylum of human, then it is having just information about phylum mammal. So catalogs are also having pictures, manuals do have pictures. Flora is description about different flowering plants. Now, this picture is of your Royal Botanical Garden, which is there in Kew in England. We have National Botanical Research Institute in Lucknow, UP. It is also having a botanical garden. One of the famous botanical garden in India is Indian Botanical Garden, which is there in Howrah in the state of West Bengal. Now these are some of the images of pictures of different botanical gardens and research institutes which are popular in the world and in India. Now, what are the significance of taxonomic aids? We have been discussing that taxonomical aids. I haven't written taxonomical aids. I should write. So taxonomical aids are essential for research. For doing different researches, without taxonomical aids, we can't do a proper research. We have to, suppose if we found a new species or species, then we have to refer, without doing research on the basis of previous knowledge or on the basis of taxonomical categories or different taxonomical aids, we can't do a proper research. We also use taxonomical aids like museum, botanical gardens, zoological parks, all these for studying, right? We students, professionals, or public in general visits different taxonomical aids for studying. Taxonomical aids are also used for referring. So the main significance of taxonomical aids are for research, study and referring. Dichotomous key as taxonomic aids. So dichotomous, di here refers to two. So dichotomous here refers to couplet. So it uses couplet. Couplet here refers to set of contrasting statement about a characteristic feature. We have two statements, one is contrasting, one is acceptable. So the statement which is accepted is known as lead, and the statement which is not accepted is rejected or rejected statement. So, for example, to understand about a dichotomous key, I'll give you an example here. Suppose if we focus on categorizing flowering plants and non-flowering plants, and a character of here is presence of flower. So non-flowering plants usually don't have flower. That is one statement. We also have another statement. Flowering plants have flower. So these are two statements. One is contrasting, one is acceptable. Right? So the specimen is usually flowering plants. So the accepted statement here is flowering plants have flower. So rejected here is non-flowering plants don't have flower. So rejected statement is rejected, and our interested statement, that is flowering plants have flower, is called as lead, or these are flowering plants have flower is a character which is accepted. So that is accepted statement. Is it clear? Hope you have understood easily with this illustration. Now, herbarium sheets are special sheets on which we mount plant specimen, whether it's be parts of plant, or it's about the leaves of the plants, it's about the inflorescence, or it's about any part of the plant. And in it we usually mention the name of the species, and biological we'll be writing about the scientific name or biological name, and then we'll be also mentioning the local name. We'll be writing detailed classification of the plants, and there is also description about the person who have collected the plant. So herbarium sheet is special sheet on which we mount sample of plants. So how herbarium sheets are prepared? First, it's collection of the plant species or plant samples, plant specimens, and after that, after drying, we used to press. Pressing before drying, pressing is also important. So first press. Pressing is done by flattening with the help of heavy wooden blocks, or in between the books we can simply press, and we can dry for months, right? After pressing, there is flattening of the plant specimen, and we keep almost a month or more for drying. It can be done in between the wooden blocks or in between the notebooks, in between different books. And finally, we used to mount it by using different glues. We have to stick it on the herbarium sheet. While after mounting, we used to write the date of collection, place of collection, English name, local name, botanical name, and detail about biological classification. So simple steps of preparing herbarium sheets: collection, pressing, drying, and mounting. And this is very useful for classification of different plants. By keeping these special sheets in herbarium, one who want to classify any new species can come to herbarium and refer those sheets, whether his plant of interest is similar to what other plants are, which are there in the herbarium. So with this, try to answer these questions. First question is, state the significance of taxonomic aids for scientists. Second, describe key as taxonomic aids. Third, illustrate the hierarchy of taxonomic categories for classification of living organisms. And fourth, you have to discuss about the steps for preparation of the herbarium sheets, and you have to mention about its significance. And fifth, with the help of an example, you have to describe species. These are simple questions. You can do it, you can learn it, and you can become good biology student. Not necessary to become good biology student, but it's better if we get more information. Okay, then take care, bye.